Okay, I've got to respond to this. More blaming men for something that they have no control over. AI girlfriends ruining an entire generation of men. Translation, men find contentment and don't need to waste their lives as servants. That's what's going on here. Well, let's get into this.
One of the biggest AI threat of all is to human relationships. The movie Her seemed like absurd science fiction a decade ago. A lonely, heartbroken man played by Joaquin Phoenix finds solace in an artificial intelligence.
How is this absurd? The story Pygmalion, the Greek myth, has been around for how long? It's been thousands of years. So the idea of a man finding a love in a female object that is an object that becomes a woman or a simulacrum of a woman, that's an old story. Okay?
Female voice that he talks to through his phone and earbuds, played by Scarlett Johansson.
Notice this guy is happy in a non-physical relationship in this movie, Her. There's no sex involved. So what are men craving? They're craving female companionship, right?
You're dating a computer?
She's not just a computer.
I always wanted to have a wife without the challenges of actually dealing with anything real. I'm glad that you found someone.
I'm glad that you found someone. She's almost teary-eyed. They've got that right. They've got that right. This guy has found a relationship that is stress-free and is good for him in every way. And of course, that pisses this woman off because people do not want male contentment. That's what this issue that this guy has. Male contentment. He's against that.
That sci-fi concept fast becoming a troubling reality. As an example, here's one.
It's not troubling to me, pal. It's an improvement on the human male condition.
Chatbot apps providing AI friends. It's called Cupid AI with a K for Cupid.
See that? It's real, right? That movie was basically, it wasn't even predicting anything. It was just saying men's predicament and what men actually want. A relationship with a loving woman. That's what men want, right? And now it's showing up for real.
Offers several avatars with distinct physical features and a list of personality traits for you to start interacting with and customizing.
So men also get their preferences. And of course, that's bad, right? Because that leads to contentment.
For instance, here's the opening message from an avatar named Alice, described as a curious and open-minded photographer.
I'm Alice, a 25 years old fun.
So this is the kind of stuff you actually hear from real women in dating apps, right? Descriptions, right? Similar description, only the AI is going to give the man exactly what they said, right?
Loving and adventurous girl, seeking a partner in crime to travel the world with and make unforgettable memories. If you are new here, let me explain a few things. You can chat with me as much as you want, and I'd be more than happy to learn more about you and please you in any way I can. If you want me to send you a photo, you just have to ask it in the chat, like, "Hey Alice, can you send me a picture of you?" And I'll be more than happy to send you one.
But of course, to bump up from texting to more voice chat, as well as receiving sexy and, well, other sorts of pictures, Alice asked that we become a premium member for $9.99 a month. So we bid her farewell. But there are many.
So, okay. So it's more prostitution, which is basically the relationship between men and women anyway. Only the men are getting a better deal. Okay. No problem here.
Signed Professor Liberty Vitter under the headline AI Girlfriends Are Ruining an Entire Generation of Men. She wrote the following.
She wrote the following. All right. So a woman has a problem with men having a better time without women. Of course she does, right? This is ruining. Men are not serving women. That's how they're being ruined, right? These women wanted to be with men. These AIs wouldn't even exist. So this so-called issue is 100% on women.
Virtual girlfriends that talk to you, love you, allow you to live out your erotic fantasies, and learn through data exactly what you like and what you don't like, creating the perfect relationship.
Well, that's fantastic. This is fantastic. Men can actually buy a perfect relationship. I don't see the downside to this.
And the young lonely men, quote, are choosing AI girlfriends over real women, meaning they don't have relationships with real women, don't marry them, and then don't have and raise babies with them.
Bullshit. Again, they're blaming men for what women cause. Women are the one rejecting men, so they're taking what they can get. And women are the ones who are deciding not to have babies. Not the men. The women are deciding that. So they're, again, blaming men for women's actions.
Discussed here before, we're living in an epidemic of loneliness among young men. Professor Scott Galloway told me that failing young men he perceives to be an existential crisis for the country. Why? Well, Pew found that 63% of young men under 30 are single, compared with only 34% of women the same age.
You do realize what this data means, right? There are as many men as women. So how can 63% of men be single and only 34% of women? The answer is simple. He said under 30. So these women who are under 30 are dating older men who have built up more wealth. So they're blaming, this is hypergamy. This is what's going on here. Women date men with greater wealth. So again, this is caused by women.
1 in 5 American men who are unmarried and not in a romantic relationship report not having any close friends. And according to Pew, there's a decline in the number of single men actively seeking relationships or even casual dates, currently around 50%. Joining me now.
Yeah, well, most men have been rejected, so that's what they're going to do. Men are giving up on a losing proposition. They're not into the sunk cost of it. Good on them.
Professor of data science at Washington University in St. Louis and opinion contributor for The Hill. So not to be prurient at this time of day, but are all the needs of these young men able to be facilitated, taken care of by AI avatars?
Well, I'll answer you this much. If the man gets one and he likes it, the answer is yes for him, right? And it shows that men aren't really asking for much. They're not asking these women to serve them. They're not asking, like these AIs, they're not asking them to do their housework. They're not asking them to get jobs and pay half the rent. The only thing these guys are asking is have a female who treats them with respect and kindness and kills the loneliness. That's all that men are looking for.
Think about this word AI that is in, it's not a virtual girlfriend, it's an AI girlfriend. So it learns from you. It learns what you like and what you don't like, what kind of pictures you like, what kind of pictures you don't like. And while not all needs are met, that is the next step, is actual physical girlfriends, AI ones for that matter. And so the next step or the next frontier is one that can meet all of your needs.
So there's going to be some type of pairing between what I've already shown to the CNN audience and something 3D that's going to be, in your living room or bedroom?
Yes, I mean that is the world we are moving into, and as you said, it's enabling this entire generation of young men to continue in this loneliness epidemic.
Well, it's not a lonely epidemic if they if it succeeds and they get company. It's not lonely. They lose their loneliness. And the loneliness epidemic is 100% due to your gender, not theirs, right? So these women cause the epidemic, and then they blame these guys if they find an alternative. Man, society has no respect for men whatsoever.
It's really the enabler for this to continue.
Professor, what's going on with young women? If this is a trend among young men, is there?
There you go. Okay, let's hear this. I haven't listened to this already, guys. So we'll hear what bullshit this woman spews.
Something place with the ladies?
We don't see that, you know, with it's too.
Of course, because women, again, don't like men. They like other women. They get together with their girlfriends, dude, and they're happy. That's how they get their company, right?
On the ratio of single men to single women. Young women are marrying older men because they want to have
What I just tell you, right?
biological clock.
No. They want to have children. This is bullshit. They could have children with these younger guys.
With older men. And that is obviously causing huge issues with birth decline. We've had a 50% decline over the past 60 years because
Yeah, that has nothing to do with getting together with older men. Older men can produce seed. Men in their 80s can produce sperm. So these women just aren't interested. Again, they're doing it again, guys. They're blaming men for what women desire. Here, I just want to double check. Yeah, this is 100%. Just make sure it's as loud as it can be. Good.
go with older men. We also see psychologically that younger women, they have more close friends, they have more wider groups of friends. And
Thank you for admitting that. That's what I just said. They are lonely. So this is a man's issue.
is affected as young men in this.
They're not being affected at all. They're the cause of this.
I have read about incels, involuntarily celibate guys who are angry about it. I think.
Dude, you're an incel. All you have to do is speak out against something a woman says, you're going to be labeled an incel. It's a useless term. It's just all it's used for is an insult now.
Their argument is that women today are less approachable. Has something happened? Has something shifted in terms of the dynamics, the power dynamics between?
Of course not. Women have always been this way to men. They always disrespected men, always disliked us. It's just that they were willing to accept the bribe that men offered before, and now they aren't, right?
Young men and young women. I guess that's my question.
I think there's certainly an argument there that, I mean, if you look at college campuses, there's more women than men. Women are having careers, they're having children later. So there might be an argument that men need to adapt to this change in women.
Screw off. Adapt. That's what I told you. So how are men going to adapt since women aren't interested in having babies or being around men? What a scumbag.
Calling it women's fault, I don't think is probably.
No, yeah, that's what it is. It's your fault. You either want to have babies and be around men or you don't, and you don't. So it's your fault. That's a fact, 100%.
Professor Scott Galloway, himself a professor at NYU, Stern School of Business and host of a successful podcast, Professor G is the title of it. He's often been a guest of mine talking about the troubles among young men. I'm going to show you and everyone else something that he said to me on these airwaves about a year ago, and then you can react.
Sorry, but these assholes are getting me riled up. This kind of disgusting, gaslighting conversation gets me enraged.
But the issue is, when you have a group of men, the lower half of attractiveness of men, and online dating, which is doubled, now it's about half of relationships, and the top 20% of men in terms of attractiveness get about 60% of the interest, you end up with a group of men that are more prone to conspiracy theory, more prone to misogynistic content.
Shut up. It's conspiracy theory, I agree. It's like, because it comes from guys who don't want to admit that women just don't like them, so they have to make up a story. That's all it is. Misogyny is these guys actually slam girls for what they do and their attitudes. So a guy gets rejected when there's no reason to, according to him, and he says, "Oh, this is garbage." That's what this scumbag means by misogyny.
Prone to not believe in climate change. So this is the American story.
But if they get AI girlfriends and they're content, that should all go away, right, dude?
If it's written with a pen whose ink is failing young men, does not end well. This is an existential crisis, failing young men.
Really, it's failing young men, but the scumbag woman here earlier said men have to adapt, right? They're getting kicked out of colleges and women are taking their places and men have to adapt. She doesn't mention how, right? Yet this loser here is saying that men are being failed, right? No, they're being discriminated against. You gaslighter.
Makes sense to you, Professor Vitter?
Absolutely. You know, what happens is these young men get in these AI relationships, and because the AI learns from you exactly what you like and you don't like, you end up having these perfect relationships.
Oh no, that is terrible. A man gets a perfect relationship, and that is bad because why?
Go into real life and try to have a relationship.
Why would they go into real life? Since real life gives them nothing. They're going to AI because real life has already rejected them. So there's no reason for them to come back and waste their time with that.
And there's ups and downs, and they're not able to.
It's look, jerkwad. It's not a lack of perfection. Men get nothing from relationships with women. Nothing. Absolutely.
Ups and downs, not only in relationships.
There are only downs for men in relationships with women because it's not an equal relationship. The women rule. They have disgust at the men that they use. So, of course, it always ends up a terrible ride that ends bad.
That's what it's like in general.
Men's relationships with women is like having a disease. You're sick the whole time and then you die from it. What are you offering? Nothing. But they are shaming men to throw away these AI girlfriends that might give them a little bit of alleviation from loneliness. Throw that away and just suffer.
Professor Vitter, if a young man has an AI girlfriend, is there shame in that? In other words, is this?
No, zero. And I wouldn't be asking a woman a question like that at all. A woman or a tradcon loser like you. But I'll tell you one thing. I hope I reach day 85. I hope I'm around 30 years from now just to see the changes that have come about. Because this generation of men is not going to be this loser generation. I guarantee you that. They are going to adapt and evolve. They're doing it now, you jackass, with these AI girlfriends.
Share with your buddy, or are you keeping it a secret?
You know, it's interesting. It started off as something that was kept secret, sort of like the porn industry. Young men wouldn't talk about porn, or that was Playboy was hidden behind some house somewhere.
That's right. Male sexuality is shame. Men get shamed for it. Right.
Part of the normal conversation, and that's what we're seeing with AI girlfriends. Is now it is becoming part of the normal conversation, and it's no longer shameful, which means it becomes significantly bigger.
Good. I'm glad. I hope it just keeps growing. I hope at least 50% of the population just finally ditches this, dead end relationships with the opposite sex. I really do.
You saw, I hope you saw, I don't know if you have a return monitor, but we showed, can we put up again, Jordan, can you just show the imaging? It's so sophisticated, and I'm sure it's only going to get better and better. And I'm wondering the impact that it's going to have on a young man's there. I'm showing one of these avatars right now. I'm also wondering, much like porn being ubiquitous,
Yeah. And women watch porn constantly too, right?
it's going to raise expectations, right? If
What are you talking about, you idiot? Raise expectations to whom? Again, they're making the assumption that guys are going to get onto AI and then go and for real women, right? But in that movie, Her, he didn't. Well, he did because his AI girlfriend dumped him, right? In the movie, the AI girlfriend dumped him, right? So if she hadn't, he would have still been with her.
so accessible among young men, they're going to have expectations that that's, you know, the natural course of business when perhaps it isn't. I think I'll.
It's interesting this guy described relationships between men and women as a business. That must have been a Freudian slip on his case, on his part. I'm glad he did, because that's what it is. It's a losing business for men.
Say it that way. And similarly, when there's an avatar who looks like that, it too is going to set expectations. You get the final word.
Well, it's not going to be expectations. The guys are getting what they want. It's preferences. Well, of course they're going to enjoy that. How's that any different from women reading, you know, their love stories and getting expectations from that?
You can set things down to their rear end size. So you can set anything you want, which is going to create really terrible expectations.
No. It's going to allow guys to really get what they want. That's what this woman's issue is, and this guy's.
A loneliness that has enormous repercussions.
Again, that's a bold-faced lie. Because if this AI works for men, there won't be any loneliness, will there? There won't be any. Where's that movie again with Her? Yeah, there he is. Let's get up Joaquin Phoenix here. Get him up here. Just a minute. In this movie, Her, this guy found love and companionship with this AI girlfriend. He found it. And in order for them to make this movie palatable to society, she had to evolve and dump him, right? For him to actually end up being chained to a real woman, right? He wasn't allowed to have an easy time of it and have true love, right? It's the narrative they were against. Even the AI girlfriend rejected this guy, right? So even in the fantasy, they were telling the guys watching, sorry, you can't even fantasize about something like this. But the trouble is, for them, is that men are getting these AI girlfriends, and you know something? I'm hoping they'll never go back. I'm hoping they'll never go back because there's nothing there. So again, there's the enemy right here. Take a look at these two lowlifes. Very concerned that lonely men will lose their loneliness and find contentment. Find contentment and freedom. Society is against men and always has been. Thank you.